John was the owner of a successful company that produced a range of high-quality products. Despite his success, John had a nagging feeling that he was missing out on potential growth opportunities. He had heard about the concept of marketing myopia and wondered if it could be the reason for his stagnation. With this realization, John made a change in his company's marketing strategy. He began to focus on the benefits his products could bring to his customers instead of just the features. By identifying his customers' needs and offering solutions that fit those needs, John's company saw significant growth in sales and revenue. Most businesses want to grow and make money, but they often don't realize that this takes time and work. To make a business work, you have to put in a lot of work, be dedicated, and be able to see what you want it to become. Myopia in marketing is one of the biggest problems that could stop a company from reaching its goals. This video will explain what marketing myopia is, what causes it, how to avoid it, and give some examples of companies that have been hurt by it. Marketing myopia is a narrow-minded and self-centered way of marketing that puts more emphasis on the needs of the company being marketed to than on the needs of the target audience. It often leads to organizations making decisions that aren't in the best interest of their customers or don't take into account changes in the market. The main causes of short-sightedness in marketing: a gap between the company and the people who buy its products or services. Most of the time, it's because they don't know what their customers really want. This can happen when a company focuses too much on its own products and services and not enough on what customers really want. Another thing that might contribute to marketing myopia is not putting enough money into marketing research. This can happen when companies think they already know everything they need to know about their customers and the industry in which they work. Not wanting to change when things change. Another common factor is not being able to adapt quickly enough to changes in the market. This can happen when companies get too used to the products and services they already have and don't change when new trends or technologies come out. Putting more attention on the past than on the future. A lot of businesses miss out on good opportunities because they focus too much on the past. Even though it's clear that their customers' needs have changed, they might be hesitant to make changes to their products or services. How to avoid short-sightedness in marketing. 1. Put the needs of the customer first. A few years ago, my favorite color was red. I often got takeout, and the only plants I took care of were fake ones. I no longer do any of those three things. Today, I make 90% of my meals. I'm a new and successful plant mom, and the color orange has come to mean the most to me. As people, we all know that our needs and wants change as we go through life. Still, it might be hard for businesses to expect the same things from their customers. If customers didn't change, you'd only have to do market research once, choose the strategies that worked, and stick with those. This would make everything a lot easier. The truth, though, is much more complicated and nuanced than that. Even just a few short months can make a big difference in how customers act. Take the year 2020 as an example. When the epidemic broke out in March of that year, businesses had to change not only their marketing strategies, but in some cases, their whole business models. Those who didn't see how important this change was and kept relying mostly on their past successes probably lost a lot of money. Not every change, though, is this big. Some happen over time. Think about what your duty is to your community. Before the last 10 years, the average consumer didn't give this issue much thought. Still, sustainability has become a more important selling point for consumers, which affects their decisions about what to buy. You could also look into the current state of the internet and the ways that people are using it. In recent years, podcasting has mostly taken the place of blogging as the most popular form of communication. All of this means that you need to keep your finger on the pulse if you don't want to run a company that doesn't look far ahead. 2. Get your team members to think of new ways to do things. Even if something has always been done a certain way, that doesn't mean it's the best way. This way of thinking is what leads to marketing myopia. To get out of that rut and reach your goals, you need to create an environment where your employees feel like they can try new things. How does this thing look? It is a mix of important and unimportant things, such as trying to get people to think in new ways. In this experiment, we are trying out a few different ways to do things. being willing to make mistakes and take risks, using people with different points of view. If you keep an open mind and are flexible in your approach, it will be easier for you to avoid marketing myopia. 3. Invest in competitive intelligence. Keeping up with what other people in your field and industry are doing is a great way to stay at the top of your game. Competitive intelligence is the process of keeping track of your competitors and getting information about them in a way that is both legal and moral. This could include things like checking social media, setting up Google alerts for certain businesses, and downloading offers to look at content strategy. Sites like Crayon, SEMrush, and Compite are great examples of tools that can help you turn this data into insights that you can use to move your business forward. 4. Make sure that your marketing plan works better. When you let yourself get too comfortable with your strategy, you run the risk of getting marketing myopia. Even if your marketing plan works, you still need to keep making it better. After all, businesses like Blockbuster were very successful until they weren't anymore. The past can't tell us anything about the present. On the other hand, it might be able to help it figure out what to do. In this case, it's important to look at your data, take the time to learn from it, and then come up with ways to improve your performance. In the end, marketing myopia is a way of marketing that is short-sighted and self-centered because it puts the needs of the company ahead of the needs of the target audience. This can cause businesses to make decisions that don't help their customers or to ignore changes in the market. To avoid marketing myopia, businesses should put the needs of the customer first, encourage team members to think of new ways to do things, invest in competitive intelligence, and keep improving their marketing plan. By not being too focused on marketing, businesses can stay ahead of the competition and be successful in the long run.